I have a presentation for you here today that is designed to look at the Arizona economy and then spend a little bit of time on the budget battle. I have served, as the introduction suggested, you know, I'm an old guy. I've been at ASU for 32 years. I started providing revenue forecasting advice back in the Bruce Babbitt administration in the early 80s. So a lot of governors, right? A lot of governors, a lot of stories. But we won't go into too many of those. So why is government in a world of hurt? You know, why is government not, quote, living within their means? Well, they thought this was their means. They thought they could count on you all to make some expenditures that you're not making. And folks said, well, wait a minute, people out of jobs. Of course they're not spending. I'm talking about income earners. I'm talking about people that have jobs aren't spending. So, forecast going forward. This is the 2011 forecast, reason from our blue chip forecasting services. We think that personal income is going to grow in the low threes. Historically, that is a pathetic growth rate for the state of Arizona. But hey, there's no negative sign in front of that. We're excited. It's great. It almost makes economists giddy to see that. So what's it going to take to stimulate the Arizona economy? We've got to stabilize. We've got to find our footing. We've got to regain our confidence. Start growing employment. People magnetism has to be regained. We've got some imagery issues that people have been talking about. Okay. Let's just say that we're not exuding the image without trying to make a political comment or whatever, because that's not my game. What I'd like to have you think about is to simply ask the question, are we exhibiting the image of Arizona that we did in the 50s, in the 60s, and the 70s? Think about what we had going for us. Wide open spaces, opportunity, a newly opened interstate system, federal interstate system, a circulation of things like Arizona highways portraying this image out was at record highs. You had media, you had the Westerns, you had all of this imagery working in our favor. And we've got to figure out a 21st century version of regaining some of that imagery. And at the end of the day, there's two components. It's an economic development agenda. It's a new tax structure designed to move burden away from business. So if you think the solution to our problems is to tax businesses into oblivion, then you're not going to like our plan. That is not our plan. Our plan is kind of the opposite. Free up the burden on business. Shift more burden to individuals. Wait a minute, tax individuals? It's a very simple notion. Individuals are the primary beneficiaries of government services through education, healthcare, public safety. Ask each one of them according to their means, not just the rich ones, but ask each one of them to pay for the services that they apparently want. And people will find out if they want them or not. And so that's just a real simple notion of where we're headed. So this is where we think we'll be if there's no change in the tax code. We think that government, people are going to have to get used to government. There will be a cyclical rebound here, but we're going to have to get used to government if we simply adopt the current tax structure. When Prop 100 goes away, we're going to be spending not 5% like we used to for years when this economy was booming. We're going to be spending more like 3.4%, something like that. So we've advanced a couple of fixes. Yes, it raises revenue. It asks individuals to pay for the public services they apparently want. The legislature has abundant power to set tax rates. Okay? There is no revenue because the tax rates are not set at levels that generate enough revenue for people to pay for the public services they apparently want. And the obligations to education are very clear. The legislature is obligated to spend on things like education, to provide for its maintenance, its development, and its improvement. And how do you do that? By taxation. I know these are tough things to swallow, but it's just right in the Constitution. So what's happened? K-12 expenditures measured as the size of the economy has plummeted. I got to show you our universities. So out of this spend, you know, when we were spending $50 per thousand back in '79, almost 9 of it went to universities. The plan for next year, universities get less than 3 of it. Okay, so out of every 1,000 earned, historically, the universities got 9, we're headed for 3. So we do have to look for revenues in different ways. We do have to be more efficient, and we are. My unit operates very much like a small business. So this is my final parting shots here. This is what K-12 spending has done since 1930. The gold line is a comparison of K-12 spending with the nation. This is 100. Until 1970, we spent more than the average state on education in this state. Until 1970, we spent more. Until 1970, this is 100. Until 1970, our teacher salaries were above average in the nation. Until 1970, our educational attainment in this nation was above average. This is average. Our educational attainment levels were above average in this nation until 1970. What did the economy of the state of Arizona do in the 60s and the 70s and into the early 80s while we had this momentum in place? It grew like no other. I think an education spend, an investment in education, I'm told that investment's a code word for, it's a code word for spending. Well, maybe it is in this case. But recognizing constitutional obligations in the form of education, I think, is very, very important. We've got to figure out a way to do it. How do you do it? You simply ask the folks to pay for public services that they apparently want. And if they don't want them, well, I guess we'll find that out.